It's getting a little bit bumpy here. We're probably close to the point where the wind will change.
It was perfect weather for our big asymmetric spinnaker, actually for the whole trip. Unfortunately, after 6 days, something happened again. The wind was turning a lot and we became pretty experienced in jibing. We felt pretty safe leaving the spinnaker on during the night because we had a net also in between the forestay and the mast.
Ja, 2 keer is genoeg.
So a small part, the outside cover is damaged, so for the time being I have to make a sort of a temporary repair.
Can I take a look?
There's a small tear in the spinnaker when we jibed. So luckily we saw it and immediately took the spinnaker down. So it is repairable. It's not a big one. It's like, I think this big. So we took it down, checked the halyards and we saw this. Now we are going to continue on the downwind generator. First I want a decent solution for this.
We thought that we might be a little bit too far to the south. The boats in the north would have the advantage, but looking at their speeds, we're kind of lucky. Because if you look at the models, then they should have at least the same winds as we're having here. But apparently they don't. Sun is up. Hier aan naar gesloten. Daar komt het van beneden. En dan gaat het via deze pijp omlaag. Gaat het hier naar de impeller. Dit klepje eraf draaien, dan kan ik de impeller bij. Oh, die tang heb ik daar niet voor nodig.
It's a long time ago that we had an impeller problem with a genset. But now the genset stopped working and so Mark is going to replace the impeller.
Alright, sorry. Anti-clockwise. So we have let me see whether we've got everything, because if so, yes. Yeah.
La
La la la la la la la la la la la. Morning. I can hear you think that, well, 8 knots on average during this night is not very much. But please bear in mind that it's VMG. So it would be easy now to head up 30 degrees and go 10 knots or more. But it would still be difficult to beat the 8 knots of VMG. If you go 30 degrees off of your course, the waypoints, then you have to go 22% faster. It's not always easy. I think this is the 4th time we jibed this morning. We're changing between butterfly, papillon, open Bijbel, vlinderen, whatever you call it. But it's the main on one side and the generator on the other side. We're changing from butterfly to 150 starboard. But that's difficult too for me, because in Holland we say just the other way around. So we would say we're sailing over port now, as the sails are on port. I think most of you will say it exactly the other way around. Doesn't really matter when it comes to the rules who has priority. Then well, we both mean the sail at the same side. We just call it differently.
It worked really well. You are a witness. I'm still alive.
Proost jongens.
Yes.
Ja, dit is echt wel een topmaaltje dit.
And that's more like it. It's 10 knots. Look at the color of the water. We need either wind or an enormous wind shift.
We have to continue with the downwind Jenniker, and at that moment the wind is completely from the back and it's also not very strong, so we really miss the spinnaker.
So butterflying still since yesterday. So we changed to the Jenniker. As you can see, there's not a lot of pressure in the sail. It's Thursday morning and we have less than 500 miles to go. Slowly getting light, and our speed hasn't been half bad this night. We are, well, you can probably better see it when it gets more light, but we are butterflying still. And I'm waiting for one of the other two to wake up. Then we might choose to jibe the Jenniker. Not something to do all by yourself in the dark. Couldn't wait any longer, so I woke up Joost, as he has asked me to. No worries there. And we jibed Jenniker. So now we are heading north of our Greatcircle course a little bit. As we saw that during the last day, the wind will be more from the southeast. The wind now is almost due east. So we're only 15 to 20 degrees off course, and we're able to maintain a higher VMG than we did that downwards. We will continue on this course as long as possible, trying to keep the VMG between 7.5 and 8. The VMG has gone up. Well, the wind was the same.
So there's one real man on the boat, doing a real man's job now.
I'm gonna catch a fish today.
We're having difficulties finding the right course. Been jibing both the mainsail and the Jenniker 6-7 times today already.
Hey.
Zondertje!
Oh, schat wel hard, schat helemaal omhoog. Hey, schatje.
It's getting pretty warm. Well, we're getting closer and closer to the equator. We were jibing the mainsail so often today that we started jibing it the last time as well when we were jibing the Jenniker. We did it before, jibing both of the sails at the same time. When you're a tree, then it's easy. But while we were doing that, we found out that we had already jibed the mains. In the meantime, our spot in the shade is back again. The sun during the middle of the day is so high here that it's hard to find a spot in the shade. Well, of course, inside in the saloon and under the cockpit roof, it's perfect. There's a nice breeze here in the front as well, on the trampoline. The wind from below as well. Always nice. Well, we're getting some wind now. We saw 18 knots even. It's close to sunset. Somehow it's quite often just before sunset that the wind increases. I don't know why. Captain Joost is on the front deck. We're one of the few boats who has 3 captains on board. We asked Joost to come on board because we are competing with two 5Xs, and he's an experienced 5X captain, so he knows how to beat them. Don't stand a chance. That's the honest story. The rest is all making bullshit. As when you're at sea for a longer period of time, it makes sense to make some bullshit every now and then. Well, the fact that we're heading towards the sun is good and bad. You would expect that we were heading due west, but in this time of year, sun sets in the southwest. Die wolken daarboven zijn eigenlijk leuker. While I'm writing my blog, the wind starts to pick up. We chose to drive the man again and head a little bit further north. And the wind's now increasing towards 20 knots, which gives us a decent speed every now and then. That's Biotech right there. The yellow line points to our waypoint, Recife. And again, another day. Today is Friday. Biotech is there, about 14 miles just alongside us. We'll probably arrive there tomorrow evening. I don't expect us to be there in the light.
We need a VMG of a little bit over 8 knots to be able to make it in time before dark.
Our all-round friend and crewmate is really all-round. He told us that he never ever cooks at home, so we thought it might be a good idea to document that basically he cooks here, well, not so good.
Very good.
The biggest part of the time, and we are really enjoying it. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that we are on strike today. We are so fed up with wind conditions, ever changing, that we decided not to touch the controls or the sails anymore until the conditions are improved. And this means that the boat can decide for itself what it does and where it goes, and we are not going to interfere whatsoever. We advise other boats to keep at a safe distance. We have considered to go on hunger strike as well, but that seems such a harsh measure that we have decided to postpone this for now. Almost dark now. It's 18:52, which means that we have until 7 tomorrow if we want to arrive in the light. 197 miles to go until the entrance of Recife. It's going to be really tight. So we're sailing Butterfly, Jenniker on port, and the full main on starboard. Well, the problem with the Butterfly sailing is that the waves are getting a little bit bigger all the time, as we had between 16 and 18 knots now for a while. And the wind will come in from the wrong side, and you could change the performance setting of the autopilot. It's on Perf 1 now, 5 different levels. We haven't had a lot of success by changing the perf mode in these situations. So we leave it on Perf 1. What I do is then, but it's kind of time consuming and intensive, what I can do is use the remote to correct the commanded wind angle. That's the lower one. Every time I see a big movement in the true wind angle, I can make a small correction to help it reduce the slaloming effect. You have to anticipate, you have to feel it a little bit, otherwise it will only make it worse. It looks like there's already some wind from the clouds building up. We're going to arrive just in time. And if we look at the average VMG, then it's still quite okay like this. So we're going to try it at least for an hour and then see where it brought us. It looks like we're chasing this cloud that just came over us. Well, thanks a lot, because that's exactly the wind we needed. There's one back here. And another one in front of us. Nice, with the sun peeping through, just above the cloud now. Woo-hoo-hoo. 16 knots. .21 knots of wind.
Just over 16 miles before the waypoint, the dolphins started to welcome us to Brazil.
Whoa, jumping! Yeah. Woo! Beautiful.
Just 25 miles before Recife, the wind decided to calm down a lot. And because of the fact that we had a decent speed the last 12 hours, we decided to do some motor sailing from 25 miles before the waypoint. Now we are pretty sure we can arrive in daylight. We fill up the water tanks before we go into the harbor, we shower ourselves, and then we are ready for Brazil.
Just in time.
In
time
la, la,
before
la,
dawn.
la, la, la.
In time for Carnival.
La, 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 la. We had problems loading the maps. It's good that we have it on our phones as well. Otherwise it would be interesting. It's red right and green on the left here in Brazil.
On our arrival, we already see the signs of Carnival, and we are going to have a lot of fun the next couple of days in the old town of Recife.